Hello Steve. Hello Jill. It's time to game classy.
All right, we are recording.
Yes, hello.
Did you hear the little ding? Like going bing.
You're a little ding.
A little ding, little ding ding.
I heard a little ring-a-ding-ding.
We just described 1970s British humor in a nutshell right there.
That's true.
Whoa, what was that? Was that a spaceship?
That was.
Oh wait, hold on. Oh, something weird happened there.
That's just my BGM.
Oh, okay.
I
don't know. I thought you were playing that Starship game that everybody's talking about now.
Oh, yeah. Starfield. No. It's a Bethesda game, so I wouldn't play it until at least the earliest I'd want to play it would be the first DLC. So,
Is that what else has Bethesda done? Didn't they do Elden Ring?
Yeah, Elder Scrolls. So Morrowind, Skyrim, Oblivion, and then Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, etc. I don't know. They make really big games, obviously. So there's always a bunch of like.
So it's like you video gamers got two really big cool games right in a row.
Yeah, they got Armored Core. They got then they. Well,
I was just thinking the Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate. Yeah, no, there's actually been a bunch of big games lately. Huh.
What was the Armored Core?
Yeah, Armored Core. It's an older series that hasn't had a game in a while, and they releasing that one's been a big smash hit. It's a mech robot game.
Ah, okay. See, I have literally not played a video game in about 2 years at this point.
Nice. Yeah,
I'm not joking. I just haven't.
I haven't played a new game other than like Street Fighter 6 for a good while. I'm still trying to get through I'm pretty committed to actually trying to get through my library of games instead of buying new games and not playing them.
Yeah, I mean most of the games in my library I've pretty much played ad nauseum, so I'm not too worried about that. That's why I bought. I think it was Fallen Order. It was the Star Wars game.
Yeah. Jedi.
I bought it used like 2 years ago. And just kind of played it for a little bit, but then I was like, I got stuff to do. I can't play video games right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
I play a little bit every now and then. I play like an hour or so. I can't do the old grind where just like sit and play a game for like 10 hours. Yeah. Can't do it anymore.
Do you want a Joe Game Classy controversial opinion?
I'm ready for your controversial opinion.
Now, this is just me, but I don't play video games as much, and this is the reason I think it is because when I am done with it, I have nothing to show for it. Like painting minis, playing games and stuff like that with my minis, at least I have like something physical that I can show that I have done with my time.
But you could get Chivos, Joe.
I know
Chivos.
All you get with video games is after it's done, you're like, okay. You just get a little bit more free space on your hard drive when you delete the game. It's like your big reward.
It's like completing a television show. Same thing.
Yeah. But usually it's like at television is you watch it at night right before you go to bed, just as like a relax thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do with video games too. Honestly, like it's like I'll play in the morning, like a little bit just before work, and then maybe a little bit right before bed. That's why I don't really sit and play in the day. Although, the Immortal Empires campaign that I do play sometimes in the middle of the day on Saturdays. That's been pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that there is a component of like if you do have like specific people that you play with and like as a way of like bonding with a friend group, it is a good way of doing that. But
yeah, no, I get it. As I said, most of the time it's it's just I've gotten into lately. My biggest video game thing has been actually visual novels. Like that's what I've really gotten into lately.
Like those Telltale games?
Yeah, similar. Yeah, actually, the Telltale games are really basically the Telltale games are just more complicated visual novels, but like stuff like Saya no Uta.
Don't say these fake words at me. I know they're not real.
All right, sorry. The Song of Saya. My bad.
Okay.
The Song of Saya, like just I don't know. They're nice because they're because they're just books with voice acting and pictures. So also there's not a there's no time crunch or like skill investment needed. I could just sit and like read, and if I need to stop, just whatever, and I can, what is it? I don't know. Like you don't need to be as much of an active participant in a visual novel in terms of like another video game. Like if I need to like get up, or if I want to do it like, like if I'm at work and I want to like have a visual novel like running on like another computer, I can stop and be like, oh, I was like, oh, okay, read it for like 5 minutes or whatever. I'm taking a walk. It's nice.
I mean, I don't really know those, but I listen to audiobooks. Same concept.
Yeah, exactly. It's an audiobook with pictures, really.
Wow, they've gone too far. Science has gone too far.
Science has gone mad.
They kept seeing whether or not they could and didn't ask if they should.
Yeah.
Well. Welcome to Game Classy, everybody, where we're not talking about where we don't talk about games. I think that was like, if I had to summarize all of the over the last, like, how long have we been doing this podcast? 12 years at this point. All of the criticisms that we got over 12 years is people go, they don't really talk about games.
I think it's been longer than 12 years.
It's been about, because it was before my daughter was born, and my daughter is now 11 years old. So
yeah, it's been a while.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I do actually have a game news.
What's your game news?
Which I thought was kind of fucking awesome. So, the Conquest Parabellum, they unveiled something that they're doing, which is new, which I think is maybe one of the coolest things I've seen for any miniatures company ever.
Ooh, what's that?
So they're doing that new army, the Wardhun, which is their like savage orcs.
Okay.
So they're orcs with like like a bunch of like cool headdresses and like stuff that, and dinosaurs. They're the ones that are riding the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. Yeah, and they have that gigantic, mega fucking huge brontosaurus.
Excuse me, the brontosauruses don't exist. It was actually a mistake that was done inside the museum at the time. They took the skull of an apatosaurus and put it on a brachiosaurus.
Yeah, well, this one has a turtle shell, so look, I guess the real wrong one is you. But yeah, so and with this, and with the launch of this army, they are doing something new, and this is the thing that I was just gushing about in a moment. 2,000 point box set.
Ooh.
And not only are they doing a 2,000 point box set for their new army, they're doing a 2,000 point box set for 3 other factions too.
Ooh.
So this is the first miniatures company I've ever seen that does that is a full-sized miniatures game, like like Warhammer Fantasy or whatever, that has an actual "this is an army" box set.
That's cool. GW used to do that, but it was expensive.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know how much the okay, I found the pricing. So they're different prices depending on
I would imagine so. Yeah.
It looks like 400 is the least expensive and 630 is the most expensive. Which, for a 2,000 point complete army, I don't know. That's not that bad.
So GW used to release the army boxes, which were fantastic. I miss those. So
much.
I
had the Tomb Kings one. It was awesome.
I have a Tomb Kings one and a Dark Elf one still. At one point, I had a Dwarf and a Wood Elf one as well. So I had a chance at getting a Bretonnian one right after they killed the Bretonnians, and I did not pick it up. So I regret that instantaneously. But
you could have been ready for Old World.
I have all the figures. I just wanted the box. The figures are easy, Steve. It's the box that's the prize.
I see.
It's a box.
It's the rarefied paper.
Yes, the rarefied paper.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, and they were about, I think, 400. But I mean, this was actually 20 years ago, so you're probably getting a deal on it now.
Yeah.
In comparison, I mean, and then plus, I don't even think that those box sets GW had were 2,000 points. They were probably closer to 1,500.
Yeah, no, they weren't 2,000 points for sure.
Yeah,
maybe a chaos one would have been like they maybe they had ones that are close if they were point heavy like chaos was.
Yeah, I think it's if you kitted them out properly, they probably hit around 2,000 points.
Yeah, well, there's always the hidden factor of the unit upgrades and character or magic items and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Which I was always bad at. I was always bad at like trying to upgrade a unit, so I'd always go like base, like stripped down unit.
Yeah,
and then my army would get defeated, and I'd be like, "Why?
You didn't
How
take a
could my-
single. You didn't take a single magic banner, Joe.
I know. It's like I just like I'm like Napoleon when it comes to my wargaming. I'm just like, the more troops on the table, the better.
More guys means more winning.
More guys means more winning. Yeah, that's no 100%. That's the way that I looked at it.
Nice.
Now, I have a friend who's really into Conquest right now. So if you're looking to someone to play Conquest with, Steve, I do have one person I know that will play with you.
My God.
And I'm sure, like, if you wanted to go to the local friendly gaming store, he would be more than happy to meet you to play Conquest. So.
the player base has exploded.
The player base, it's more than doubled in the Chicagoland region.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a cool game. It's one of those games. It's good. But as we've discussed many times, it's a tough sell to get people on.
Yeah,
Games of that size that are not
GW.
That's the one. That's the reason I think Alpha Strike is getting so big. BattleTech, because like that game is legit like getting big. Like I've seen people playing it in the wild, like. Not at a minis store. Like I've seen people playing it at a CCG store.
I had a theory on this, and you could correct me if you think I'm wrong. But I think Alpha Strike is getting popular because all of the original BattleTech players have died. So there's no one to gatekeep people into BattleTech anymore.
So that might be part of it. Like unironically, that actually might be part of it. BattleTech's pretty fucking old. It's like a 40-year-old game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like all of the players who like played in the 80s are now either dead or because of their oxygen cannot actually communicate their disgust with new players.
They've aged out one way or another.
Yes.
That's humorous. But
the 40-year-old hockey player.
The 40-year-old hockey player. The thing I really think about Alpha Strike is that it's not a tough sell.
No,
I think that's the biggest thing. It's like you want to play Alpha Strike, you can play a complete game of Alpha Strike. Actually, more than a complete game of Alpha Strike with one box set. The Alpha Strike bot. Like if you have a friend who's already got the rules and all that stuff, you just need the $25 star box, which is it's a box that has like 4 to 7 minis. Like you play, and those cost like $25. $30. So like the actual barrier to entry, like at minimum, if you have a friend who's already playing, is $25. Which is, that's you show me any other miniatures game that gives you an actual complete gameplay experience for that price, and I would be shocked. I think it's the only one in the market that is like that.
Probably. It's one of those games that I think will do really well for, I don't know, 2 to 3 years, and I think players will move on. I generally see that with the smaller games is like people play them for about 2 or 3 years, and then they're like, okay, we've had our fun with this game. Let's move on to the next thing.
I don't know. Someone pointed out on the Discord that Alpha Strike's actually pretty old. I didn't know how old it was.
But once it gets popular, it burns out after about 3 years.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the longevity. I don't know. It's pretty surprising. I don't know. We'll see.
And because also you got to remember that Alpha Strike is a gateway game. It's designed to get people into regular BattleTech.
I don't think that's working. I'm pretty sure that's not working.
Well, that's the way that it works. That's like the way all GW games work. Like it's all the little games are designed to filter you into the bigger games. So if you want to play, what's it called, Warcry, that Warcry is designed to get you into Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like a Kill Team is designed to get you into 40K. That's just the way those games work, and that's what they're there for. That's why Alpha Strike. It's a super popular game. It's because it's cheap, and it's easy to learn, and it's fun. And once it's like what I say is like it's going to get super popular, burn out in 3 years, and then it's like a vast majority of the player base is probably going to move to actual BattleTech. And then they're going to be like, these rules make no sense.
And then there'll be the Alpha Strike resurgence.
Yeah, they'll what there'll be a solid core group of people who still play Alpha Strike, and they're going to exist mainly on Facebook talking about how they found these cool Alpha Strike models, hidden away in a game store somewhere. Give me the upvotes for finding these. Yeah. And that's just kind of like the life cycle, the normal life cycle of most games. It's like 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, every game's on kind of like a boom bust, and then some reach mega stability. So we'll see.
Yes. And speaking, well, actually not speaking. That's a terrible transition. Terrible transition. I actually did want to talk about
to shreds, you say.
The shreds, you say. A follow-up to last week's story about our last cast story about the Gen Con Magic the Gathering heist.
The heist.
Oh my God, did you read this? Did you read about what happened?
I Ashriel Shadowheart or whatever.
Oh my God.
What was his name? It was something like that. It was like the most like ridiculous fucking name ever.
Scott Fisher and Ashriel Lockheart.
Ashriel Lockheart. That's what it was.
It's okay. Recap for those who are listen to last cast if you want to find out about the Magic the Gathering heist. But not too long after we had talked about it on the cast, the guys responsible were finally charged. They were caught, I think, in New York, right? I think that's who ended up catching them, and then they were charged in Indianapolis finally, because Indianapolis police are like, "Go darn it, they got away on one of those horseless carriages."
Why are they deep Southerners?
Because it's Indiana. It's an Indiana sheriff.
But that's just the vibes. It's not the audio.
It's true. So this is the way to communicate it instead of how people from Indiana normally communicate, which is "dur dur dur," racist comment, "dur dur dur." I don't like black people. Dur dur dur. Yes, that's Indiana right there for you. I was born there.
And extremely weird billboards. That is another thing that they're very frequently religious, but they're also very frequently very weird.
I always see those ones that's like Jesus is coming, and I literally want to erect a billboard of like Jesus porn right behind it.
With the He-Man face from
yes, just like and like a big stream of ropes, thrown ropes. I want Jesus throwing ropes to the next billboard.
Nice.
Yes, because I can't stand that state.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, man.
I one time was driving to my uncle's house. He lives in Indiana, and they have and I was driving past we were going on a back road kind of.
Mm-hmm.
This was like out in country Indiana, so 5 minutes from the Illinois border, and there was a house that I saw that had a back porch that was a raised back porch coming off the back of the house, not unusual.
Mm-hmm.
But there was an 8-foot privacy fence attached to the porch on the house. So like there was like, if you could imagine it, it was like 10 feet off the ground, this porch comes off the house, and there's an 8-foot fence attached to that porch. I'm just like, what? Who would think that was a good idea? Like, why would anybody want that?
Yeah, that's so weird.
Well, I know why they did it, because they live on a big empty property where no one around them, so they didn't want to put a huge privacy fence all around because people would still be able to see. So they were like, we're just going to put it up on our deck. Oh, Jesus Christ, you hillbillies.
What are they doing?
Anyway, back to normal things instead of be bitching about Indiana. Indiana used to be a good state to get cheap gas and cheap cigarettes, but
yes.
Not even anymore. Or pierogies.
Ooh, pierogies.
Yeah, I know. Well, they have Pierogi Fest in Northwest Indiana, which is technically still part of Chicago, but it's Northwest Indiana is Chicago for people who don't want to say they're from Chicago, so that way people don't look at them like they're gangbangers.
I see.
Yeah, because I told you that. Like, I was in line in Washington D.C. and a guy was like, "Chicago, a lot of people leaving Chicago." And
and you're like, no.
No, not happening at all. And actually, I wanted to say, yeah, a lot of racists are leaving, which is awesome.
We're like, that's not actually happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. I said for Euro listeners, I hope you understand how weird America is and how different, not only how different every state is between each other, but you will have such a weird and different experience within the same state. It is a very, very strange place. Like, it is just odd. Yeah, I don't know how other way to put it. We're weird, man. That's all I'm gonna say is we're weird.
Yes. Each governmental unit is very, very different from each other.
Yeah, and even in the same state, you'll have like towns that are very different. Like, for example,
Rockford.
yeah, Rockford. Like, oh, and like in Florida, you've got like Miami and Daytona. Like,
Daytona.
let's go away. Like Miami is like, if you were to go to Miami and spend like 2 weeks there and then go to Daytona and spend 2 weeks there, you would feel like you went to different countries. And it's the same state. You'd literally feel like you were in a different country between each city. And I'm not kidding. That is the vibes.
I mean, yeah, and one you have like, I'm gonna wear this really cool hat with a Bahama shirt, some nice shorts, some good sandals, and I'm gonna have some like delicious Cuban food. And then the other one, it's just like
Yep. Yeah. No, it really is true. That's it. It's a weird place, man.
I'm sure one of our German listeners is like, yeah, so it's the same in the town of Dunkelhorf.
You know what?
Dunkelhorf, everything is backwards.
If we have anyone from Brazil, congratulations on being America.
Yeah.
I've been watching a new VTuber from Brazil, and she did a stream where where she was talking, like she was like introducing everyone to like Brazil and like talking about different places in Brazil, and like I'm not even fucking kidding, Brazil and America are like almost the same place. It is so fucking weird. It's like she's like Sao Paulo is really like this, and then like they're like, and it's like and then it's like, oh, that's like, California that's like Los Angeles, and then and this place, blah blah blah. It's like, oh, that's like New York. She's like, yeah, it is kind of like New York. I was kind of surprised, and of course, people walking around with machine guns. Same in Brazil.
Yeah, I've seen the movie City of God. I know what it's like. I worked on the West Side. It's the same thing. Go watch City of God. It's an amazing movie.
That is a really good movie. Isn't that that's about Sao Paulo, right?
Yes, I believe so. I haven't seen it in like 25 years.
Yeah, it's the same. It's been a super. I remember liking it a lot, but I also remember being very, very
depressed.
Well, yes, the depression part, but also the memories are vague. But I do remember being good.
Yes. All right. So back to the story.
Yes.
So basically, these two guys, they were wearing a T-shirt for their own game. So their names were Dunbar and Guillaume. They designed the game Castle Assault in 2015. Were wearing the T-shirt. Sometime, according to what happened was that they bought their tickets for Gen Con and then changed their name on the registration to Scott Fisher and Ashriel Lockhart. All right. Then they tried.
I can't even contain it.
Then they tried to get into the Asmodee Atomic Mass Games booth. Like, there's actually a picture of the guy trying to get into the back of the booth. And like the only thing that this guy could have that would be better is if he was wearing cargo shorts. I think that would complete this guy's look as being the typical gamer.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is not wearing cargo pants or cargo shorts, which is depressing.
You really should have been. That would have been the perfection on it. You know what? When we make the film when you and I produce and release the film adaptation of the heist, we'll make sure he's in cargo shorts.
Yes, and he has to like reach into his like we I think we'll get Pat B to play this character because Pat B loves cargo shorts. So
yeah, no, well, I don't know. Pat B looks fine in cargo shorts. We need to get someone who looks really, really awkward in cargo shorts.
I don't think I don't think people look awkward in cargo shorts. I just think cargo shorts are just really shitty pants. Like they look terrible on everybody. No, and I'm not joking. I think that they are legit one of the worst fashion trends known to mankind.
I don't know, man. Khakis are pretty bad.
Like, what do you need cargo pants for? What are you possibly putting in all those pockets? Think about it, Steve. I mean, for like a little kid, he's got a yo-yo in there. He's got some bubble gum, maybe a baseball card.
One dice.
Yeah. He's got. I got some dice I could shoot in the alley. Yeah, he's got all that stuff. Maybe a Fig Newton bar in there. And what does a grown ass adult need cargo pants for?
Well, maybe they also want to carry around Fig Newtons.
Well, I mean, you can carry around a Fig Newton, but you don't have to have it inside of cargo pants. What do you get? Just in case I get hungry on this walk, I'm gonna carry my Fig Newton.
Yeah.
Just in case I get hungry as I'm walking around the Home Depot.
Yeah.
And by the way, that this he tried to break into the Atomic Mass Games thing, and the contractor who like wouldn't let him in, like they tried to talk their way into it, and the guy was like, no. It was like the epitome of a TTRPG when like the players are trying to talk to a guard and the rule specifically states no amount of charisma will get past this guard.
That's right.
They legit say that, but the players keep on trying. They keep on trying, and this guy's like, no, you can't get in here.
I'll change my name to Ashriel Lockheart.
Yes, exactly. And so the dude just took a picture of the guys as they were walking away.
So
he was like,
good.
yeah, this isn't good. And I like how they were like,
I would say I almost forgot. Fig Newton mentioned, so I have to. Ooey gooey, rich and chewy inside, tender flicky, golden kicky outside. Put the inside in the outside. Put the inside in the outside. Is it good? Darn tootin'. Big Fig Newton.
I don't know that whole song, but I'm glad you do.
I think that is the whole song. That's
what I'm saying. It's like I don't know that whole song, but I know the basics of it.
I think I know it. I actually know it from The Simpsons. I don't know it from the Fig Newton commercial. I actually know it from The Simpsons.
Well, yeah, they discontinued the Fig Newton commercial before we were even born.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's sad.
That was just one of those. You know. Speaking of commercials, a complete total tangent, but someone brought it up the other day. Do you remember the fucking Campbell's soup commercial with the snowman who melts into a child? That commercial was like eldritch. Like that was like a terrifying commercial to me. I don't know about you, but like that commercial always kind of freaked me out.
Apparently, they still play it on normal TV during the winter time. As a person, but I don't know. I haven't watched regular TV in years.
Same. I don't like it.
Here you go. This is here we go. Another clue. By the way, they use the word clue in this Gizmodo article. Just because this was such a daunting piece of police work.
I can't. It's so funny. It's like top to bottom. It's like a comedy sketch. Like
it really is. Another clue that leads to the arrest came out on August 8th when an attorney called the detective in charge of the case. He stated that he represented an unnamed client who was in possession of the stolen cards.
Fucking.
The attorney stated that his client was coerced into purchasing a pallet of merchandise by an individual named Jeff for $4,000 and instructed the attorney to reach out to the detective after he learned about the theft online. The recovered product was confirmed to be Magic the Gathering cards, which were sold from Pastimes at Gen Con. A total retail value of the product is just under $200,000. Now, that's the part I wanted to hit, because there was an interesting thing where they were charged with the theft of $300,000 worth of product, and it was stolen from Pastimes. And I think don't you work with Pastimes?
They're a game store. So
yeah, they're a game store.
Yeah, they're a game store. So we work with them. Yeah, no, Pastimes, good stuff.
Yeah. So, but I think Pastimes,
they're a Chicago FLGS.
Yeah. So did Pastimes inflate the amount of the theft so that they can get better insurance? Yeah.
No. If it was a pallet, of Commander Masters, that's probably the price.
I thought that maybe it was some sort of other conspiracy going on here.
No. That was this. I mean, I wonder if did that lawyer. The lawyer was for one of the thieves, right? Like obviously.
No, the lawyer was the guy who bought the cards for $4,000 is lawyer. I believe.
Oh, that's I thought maybe that was one of the heisters trying to like get out of it by saying that like, oh no, I bought these for a really low price.
I mean, that might be the thing, but from this article that I'm reading, it's that some guy was coerced to buy it for $4,000, right?
Okay.
And then that guy contacted the lawyer and said, "Look, I have all of these cards. They need to get I want to turn these people in who I bought it from."
Got it. Yeah. Okay. No. So yeah. No. That $4,000 would, like, not even kidding. Like that dude bought $300,000 in Magic cards for $4,000.
So the dude was like, so they were like, hey, you want to buy this pallet? And the dude's like, yeah. And he was like, we'll give it to you for $4,000. So the guy bought it for $4,000. Then he saw that there was the theft at Gen Con, and he was like, oh no.
Yeah.
So he contacted the lawyer and said, look, I have the stuff that they stole.
Got it.
Didn't know that it was stolen at the time, but no, once I found out it was stolen, I wanted to turn him in.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, that person dubious. All I'm gonna say is that dubious. Like,
you think that he might be in on it?
That I wouldn't say, but I would say that if you know Magic cards, you know damn fucking well that no one is selling a pallet of fucking Magic cards for $4,000. Like that's.
I completely agree. I just don't think Jeff was part of the heist because.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
If Jeff was part of the heist, Ashriel Lockheart would probably flip on him in an instant.
Yeah, immediately. Ashriel Lockheart would give him up to the authorities. No, it's more like it's like if you know Magic, like you know damn well what you were buying. Like that'd be do you remember that ridiculous Citadel collection that someone posted that was available for sale in the UK for pickup?
Yes. Yeah. That
would have been like if someone brought that to you, Joe, and was like, "Hey man, I got these minis. Whatever. I don't really want them, but I don't know. Do you want this collection for like $1,000?"
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd know. You'd be like, "This is fucking stolen." Like you'd immediately know. You'd be like, "This guy stole this."
I mean, I do remember that one story. It happened a couple years ago, probably about 10 years ago at this point, about the guy who was working at a Goodwill, and this woman brought her in her son's collection. Like her son had died, and she brought in his massive fantasy collection, Warhammer collection. It was like tens of thousands of dollars worth of stuff, like nicely painted. And she was like, I don't know what to do with this. I just want to give it to Goodwill. And the guy was like, listen, you're not going to give this to Goodwill. We're going to sell it, and we're going to do this and this, and I'm going to help you on this one.
Yep.
So he was like one of the good guys with it.
Yep, I do remember that. Yeah, he helped. They ended up helping her to sell everything, and she got basically like she got enough money to retire. It was like a sad story, but also like happy ending story.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. I would have just taken the minis and been like, mine.
Well, yeah, but we're heartless.
Yes, very true.
I'm kidding. I would never have done that. I would never let someone make that kind of mistake. I could never live with myself.
Yeah, and that's why you're a beta, Steve.
Yeah, I know. Good. Trying to live by the philosophy of good thoughts, good words, good deeds definitely makes you a beta. It's true.
Beta.
It's true.
So anyway, and this is the last thing that I really liked, and it's just like it's a wonderful little detail. So they took the pallet. The men were seen with a red hand cart taking the unwrapped boxes through the skywalk to the attached garage. After leaving the garage to return the hand cart, the men returned to the garage, and 5 minutes later, a red Nissan Murano with a New York license plate left the garage.
The Nissan Murano.
Yes. Included in the affidavit is a still from a Raceway security camera that shows the boxes stacked in the back of the Murano. I mean,
it's so funny. Like I don't know, man. It's so goofy.
It's like it's really the most like no one was really hurt by this whole thing. I mean, yeah, Pastimes was out a ton of product, but I'm sure insurance would have covered it.
Yeah, it's I mean, obviously it's not something you want to happen, but what a goofy
what were they thinking? Like, and so after our last cast, I was really thinking that you could, if you were quick enough, and you were able to get rid of all of the product. Like let's say like the smartest way of doing it would be opening up every box.
Yes, if you open it up, there's no way to prove that
there's no way to track that the product because I'm sure the boxes probably have serial numbers or something on there where you could track it that way.
Yes, yeah. Boxes and I think packs have identifying marks on them.
Yeah, exactly. So if you opened up all the packs and all the boxes and just like shredded all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Or incinerated all of that, there'd be no way to trace at least the product.
Right. Yeah. They would have to. I don't know. So I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm not a fucking lawyer, but like I know, like isn't like having like for example like with murder, like isn't having a body like incredibly like integral to like bringing the charges about?
Yes. If there is a body, the murder charges can you can actually probably convict. For murder.
Okay.
But if there's no body, there's no crime. most of the time. Like it's much harder for a prosecutor to prove that you murdered someone if there is no body.
Okay.
Because
So
that's what was that's what happened to Scott Peterson in remember Scott Peterson? I think he was in Bloomingdale.
oh yeah, when he killed his wife, I remember that.
Yeah, he killed 2 wives.
Oh, that's right. And they did, but they found him.
They found one of them. I don't know if they found the. I don't remember if they found the second
yes,
one. Yes,
they found one of them. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. He talked like this all the time because he's a Chicago cop.
That's right, and he got busted and is convicted.
Yeah.
So is it the same for larceny? Like example, if you know, we'll go to the same thing. If they could not recover the stolen goods, and I was just like, I don't know, I didn't keep it. I just
so I think that they had. Well, this is the reason why it's funny. It's because there's such a trail of evidence that these guys were in possession of the product.
Like a comical trail of evidence.
A comical trail of evidence. So, like, let's say that there was no clean shot of them with the product.
Right.
It would be much harder to prove that.
Okay.
But because they were filmed taking the product, carrying it to a garage, and then driving out of the garage
in
a Murano with the product in their car, Murano is traced to them. They are wearing T-shirts that's for a game that they started. It's like the level of evidence is comical. So if for some odd reason they were able to, like, let's say they did it and they had, like, you know, a lot of prosthetics on. You know, just like enough that it was to, you know, they got some of those good masks and everything like that.
Sure. Yeah.
They would, or like cosplay. Like if they did, like that would be the way to do it at Gen Con is you wear like ridiculous cosplay and then you go do that and you.
That's true.
Once you take it into like the garage and like you find a blind spot in the cameras, you take off all your cosplay and then you go on from there and then you put it inside of a, I don't know, a car that you bought for $100 with no license plates on it or fake license plates on it in the trunk so you can actually put the product in there and not in the back seat. You probably could get away with it.
Yep. Yeah. And I figured like once you have the product, if you destroy the packaging and just, you know, take the singles, there's no actual, like they can be like, well, we're pretty sure that this guy stole it, but we can't. Yeah,
exactly. And all you have to do is you just put the product up on eBay. You don't even have the physical product available for anybody to look at.
Yeah, you just sell the singles. No, I can see it. It's like it's funny. There was a similar like comedic level heist a while ago for Pokemon actually. I don't know if you. I don't think I talked about this one on any cast or.
Didn't someone? It was like at a tournament. Someone got their shit stolen.
No. This is more ridiculous than that. So someone came into a game store to sell Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
And what they came in to sell with was a titanic stack of the rarest cards from a Pokemon set, and like we're talking like thousands of copies of the rarest cards.
Oh yeah, he was from the factory, right?
From the factory.
We covered that on the cast. We covered that.
Okay. Yeah. He stole. Yeah. So he stole it from the production line, and the store owner was like, "There's no fucking way that this guy has." Like, he's like, "This is insane. Like, this is impossible." And then he eventually figured it out, and it's like, "Oh, yep, stole it. We found it." And yeah, he got busted immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of it's similar. It's just. I am like I could never do it. My stomach wouldn't be able to handle the anxiety of a theft.
Oh, dude, I can't even be in a bank. Like I can't walk into a bank anymore. Like I'm completely like I can't be inside places. It's bad. Like there's no way I could do it.
Yeah, I mean, like for me personally though, it's like the risk is not worth the reward.
No, definitely not.
But I mean, for these guys, it may have been, and they thought they could have gotten away with it. But it's like. Haven't you watched a single fucking movie in your life? Don't you know how heists work?
Yeah, you need to plan. Like
you need to plan this.
Yeah, like there's got to be a plan. Like you can't opportunity crimes or something like when a Magic player steals another player's deck. Like that's an opportunity crime. And like okay, yeah, like you're being a dickhead. Like, but at least that like I could see that's something where you're not gonna need to fucking plan because that's not a heist. That's just a what is it? It's just a crime of opportunity, right?
Yeah, it's just a theft. That's all it is.
It's just a theft.
Well, and that's the thing that drives me nuts on this is that it wasn't a crime of opportunity because they planned it by getting fake names.
Yeah,
like
they planned it badly.
Yeah. So at least there was some forethought for these guys. They're like, you know what? If we use our own names, they're going to be able to track us. We got to come up with fake names. I'm going to be Ashriel Lockheart. And it's like, and not only that. These guys are going to jail, and they're getting ridiculed by two guys who have nothing better to do with their Saturday mornings than to talk about it.
Yeah.
I am superior to these two in every way.
I mean, I will say yes, and I would say that all of our listeners are as well.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. One of our listeners sent us the saga of Rivenstone. Have you seen this from Broken Anvil Games? It was the Kickstarter.
Oh, right. Yes.
That's like apparently. So Rivenstone was a Kickstarter that finished up. I don't know, a while ago. And it was a bunch of new minis. Oh, April of 2022 is when it dropped.
Yes,
when it would have finished its Kickstarter. It's a skirmish game with minis involved with it. It's nice looking. It was a little on the expensive side.
Yeah, it looks like it's very, very War Machine.
It's very War Machine. It's a little expensive, but I mean it's a Kickstarter. Tokens, minis, cards. It's the normal thing. But apparently, the company that was doing it, like, they started like a pyramid scheme of funding. It's very similar to what happened with Soda Pop Minis, where they would get money through a game, use that money to fund one project, and then started another Kickstarter to fund the project that they took the money from in the first place.
Yeah. The literal definition of robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a pyramid scheme, but it's pretty close.
No, it's like I don't know. I would say that's not a scheme. I would say that's like degen gambling. Like that's what it is. It's really, really like you are gambling, and you're gambling with other people's money.
Yeah, it's like gambling. It's just poor business practices is what it is.
Yeah, really, because you have product that you haven't made, and you're like going, well, we don't have enough money for this first product, but we're gonna go to the next product, and that's something, it's I think we talked about before, like people not taking any care to plan their Kickstarters and understand because we I think there's like a thing with Kickstarter for like a lot of people where they set the goal low to try and
entice people into it.
Yes, they're trying to entice people. Like they're not actually setting a goal that's realistic. It's not a goal that like people are going to, or not people, I shouldn't say. They're setting a goal that if they made the goal, they wouldn't be able to make the game. Like if they just made the goal, they would not actually be able to produce the game.
So like Rivenstone had its pledge goal being at $100,000, which is probably not bad. But for a game that's, got minis in it, as well as cardboard and cards in a post-COVID, with shipping as it is, $10,000 and $100,000 is probably not enough.
Yeah, that's it's very frequently it's shipping. Sometimes it's production. There's so many factors you have to account for. Where like I mean we've got some listeners who ran successful Kickstarters, so I mean they know, and I'm sure they planned it out, and we're sure basically like. I don't know, if I was going to run a Kickstarter, I would, talk to everyone I could to try and figure out what the budget is. And I would make my Kickstarter goal double that budget. Like if I talk to like production and artists and like I calculated the cost of the game to make money, like to be a profitable game. If I was like, okay, they're like, it's $50,000. I'm like, okay, $50,000 could produce this game, get it out on the market. I would absolutely set my Kickstarter goal at $100,000 because you need to have cushion, because if you're razor thin, one problem and you get flipped up. Because I think Ninja Division had a production or shipping issue, and that like their budget like exploded. Like it was over, like because they were very close to. It was one of those things where like they raised 110,000 and they needed, like when they raised 110,000 they needed like 108,000. So they were like just over the line, and then one big production slip up or one shipping slip up, and suddenly they're upside down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so that's basically what happened was for this game in particular, they got all the Kickstarter stuff, they hired all the talent to make the game, and they weren't making any money. So they diverted all of their efforts into Forged, which was a game which was just minis. It was like Reaper Bones. And then that made about $250,000. But I guess that the guy who did it didn't make as much money as they wanted to. And once again, they put like the minimum is $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
It made $250,000, which is great, but it wasn't enough money to cover both the cost of Rivenstone and Forged. So that was like, that's what happened. It fell apart right there. And so now they're like, they're selling the company for like $1, but you have to take on all of the company's debts.
Yeah. It was like you're buying losing money.
Yeah. So yeah, and everyone who was doing there got they all got laid off, and of course because the company couldn't make money on what they were trying to do.
Yeah, no one was paid, I'm sure.
And especially it doesn't help for two things on this. I think two things are important for people to remember when they're looking at both of these Kickstarters. Rivenstone itself is not a very unique looking game.
Yeah,
it is. It looks like it looks very early 2000s, late 90s is what it looks like.
Big shoulders, McLarge huge, tiny head.
Yeah. It's very early 2000s, and you know there's already games that fill this niche. You're not giving anything different.
Yeah, I mean, it like I don't know. It's this one seems to have been ego death. It seems to have been killed by the guy who was running in massive ego.
And then there was Forged. You'd be paying all of this money, and it's essentially like no different than Reaper Bones. Like it's not you're getting physical copies when most people are at this point are going digital for 3D printing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so like you get for $40 you get 17 figures. Like that's a ridiculous amount of money for 17 figures.
That's pretty expensive.
Yeah. And like if you want the whole thing, you got to pay $360 for it. And it's like no one's going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think actually some people did. Let me see. 78 people did.
Yeah.
But most people paid $120 and you got 65 minis. It's about $2 a mini. It's not terrible, but still,
yeah, $2 a figure is a good price.
Yes, but even still, it's very dated in 2023.
Yes, yeah, that you could absolutely like tell that this dude was an old head like player, and like that's how it was designed, and it's like that. Yeah. That's not the market anymore, man. Like you can't. For $120, you could literally buy a 3D printer and then print all of these figures. Yeah, it's like you can't do it like that. Like, and that's I think that's like for me, like if I was gonna do like a minis Kickstarter, I would want to do the most contemporary style I could. So I would absolutely have it be an upgradable, purchasable tier thing. So like, for example, I would sell the game as STLs, but also have a physical version. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it, because then you hit all angles. So like guys with 3D printers, they can get in on it because they can do the
they could print their own figures essentially.
Right, and then guys who don't have 3D printers or don't want to fuck with 3D printers, they can just go to the higher tier and just I'll send them the figures. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could print them out and send them out.
Yeah, I think that's just a great model to be a contemporary game, because I think you should hit every angle, and you're going to make more money too as well, which is good, you know, because you got guys who are going to buy the STLs, and you can even do the authorized, like if you wanted to, you could even add the authorized seller thing, because I know that's like a big thing, as well, because I know there's a bunch of guys on Etsy who do 3D printed stuff. And they're, you know, it's I think it's cool. I think it's really cool, and I think it's smart. I think it's a smart way to do it, and that, you know, you're because fighting against, like, you can't fight against 3D printing at this point. Like I know Workshop is trying, but like no, like it's not gonna work, bro. Just do what you're doing, because you're not gonna stop 3D printing.
One of the things you brought up about authorized selling with 3D printers, and it's like, I appreciate it, and I think it's good that people will do that for Etsy shops and things like that online. Mm-hmm. However, it's just like, you want me to give you a license so that I could print minis that you obviously ripped off a company that sculpted and painted their own minis. so that way you could make more money off of what this person already did.
Well,
Like,
maybe not the ripoff. Maybe not the ripoff
hmm.
part. I'll say I'll authorize you to sell my official files.
Yeah. I mean, like the guy who obviously is doing their version of Space Marines, it's like, or even worse, the guys who do the Star Wars stuff, and it's not even like these are pretend Star Wars stuff. This is like straight 1-for-1 rips
Yeah.
of Star Wars stuff, and they
Yeah.
want me to pay them so that I could print their rip-off files.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I agree with that. I know what you're saying, and I agree with that.
One thing that I did want to talk about actually with 3D printing today, so that's actually a decent segue.
Hey, nice.
Is I want to start recommending more like Patreons for 3D printing, because I know some people do ask. But one that I did want in particular recently, is I've been using a lot for my D&D games, is Artisan Guild. Artisan Guild, and they're the ones who I sent with the Tomb King Ratman.
Oh yeah, very cool. Very cool looking. Very cool idea.
Yeah, they are a company. They've been around for a couple years at this point, and every month what they do is they release a different like faction in quotation marks. So it's kind of a full little war band for one particular style or whatever you're looking for, and it's usually filled out pretty well. They usually give you a nice big creature, a leader, a couple goons, and like a hero character. And then they'll always do a pinup too for the guys who like cheesecake. So like if you like you get your goblin set, you'll get a couple multi-part goblins, some goblin wolf riders, a goblin leader on some sort of monster, and then you'll get like a goblin with a thick booty for the guys who like the cheesecake. So for example, with the Tomb King Skaven, there is a cheesecake Skaven character there dressed in a belly dancer outfit with big boobies and a butt.
That's awesome.
So that's there for you. But they also have the what's it called? The Necro Sphinx, but it's just a big rat, which is really cool looking.
Yeah, it's a very cool army. I think you could use that as a Hell Pit Abomination.
Yeah, you use it as a Hell Pit Abomination or a Necro Sphinx, because you could also use it as, Tomb Kings.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah, you could use what the heck? You could use it as use it as Tomb Kings, or you could use it as what's that? The guard. Fuck, I can't remember their name. The Mortark.
Yeah.
The Orsiarch Bone Reapers. Yeah. You could use it as that.
The
Bone Reapers, because you could use their basic infantry as these Skaven infantry, and then bigger figures. Yeah, it would work.
They're really good for GW proxies for some things, but they also are just really good for D&D. I've used 2 of their sets ad nauseum for my latest D&D game. Their Assassin's Guild are really great kind of thieves or brigands and that sort of stuff. And I also use their Kobold set, which is really fantastic.
Rule.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with kobolds, you're spoiled for kobolds in 3D printing. There's every person has done their own version of kobold, so you just kind of got to find your style of kobold. What do you like? And I really like Artisan Guild. Another one is Epic Minis, who has theirs, and I like theirs as well. But Kobold Minis, Artisan Guild's Minis, I think are chunky enough that I really enjoy painting them, but they're not too complicated. They're also pretty simplistic, so you don't have to worry too much about them on that end. But I wanted to recommend them. I really enjoy their figures, and I like seeing what they come up with every month. This one month they have some Northmen figures, so if you want some like Vikings or chaos, just non-chaos warriors, what are those? Marauders. Some good chaos Northmen marauders. That's good for that. So that's a recommend.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I really like the idea of having like geographical themes to your army as well, especially for Skaven. I was like, oh, that's really cool, because if you wanted to have like a theme to your army, like if you already had like a Tomb King's army, or you had like an Araby army, like what a cool compliment to that army to have like these Skaven, but they're also like in the same place, like
Arabian Nights,
like Arabian days. It's hotter than hot.
There's one I'll see if I can send it to you. They did some Murlocs. Remember Murlocs from World of Warcraft?
Yes.
Yes, I do remember the Murloc.
I do.
They did like a little Murloc army, but the leader for it is riding this giant kraken. It's pretty
nice.
Yes. So yes, you could have Murlocs and you could have Kraken. And the Murloc, one of the characters is one of those abyssal fish that have like the little glow thing over their head.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do some really nice OSL work with it.
Nice.
I saw that because I think one of the later encounters in the book that I'm doing for D&D has the fishmen, whatever the D&D fishmen are called.
There's actually more than one type of fish.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like the goon fishmen.
I think there's Saugquain. I think Saugquain is I don't know.
Nah,
I don't know if that's the right way to say it.
that's not the one I'm thinking of though. But yeah. So anyway,
Sahuagin. I don't know how to fucking say it. I really don't. Like, but those are the Forgotten Realms fishmen. They look like Creature from the Black Lagoon.
okay, no, these are a little more fishy fish.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's so many damn fishmen. Oh, is it the Kuatoa?
No.
God damn, dude, why are there so many fish races?
I don't know because there's a lot of water in D&D.
Kuatoa are like piranha, but they're like dwarf piranha. They're like they're humanoid. They're like dwarf-sized humanoids, but they're like piranha.
No, I don't think these are the ones I'm thinking of.
That's all I got. I know there are more fish races, but that's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure which one it is. I'll have to look. It does not matter.
Nah, this is fun though.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun.
It's just fun.
And so finally I did want to go over the GW Nova releases. So
I completely have been completely out of the loop. I forgot that there was Nova happening.
Yes, Nova's happening right now. So a bunch of people are playing 40K right now with the same army lists. But one thing I did want to comment on that I thought was interesting is they showed a bunch of new 40K Space Marine stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I thought was interesting is that they created a new jump pack captain for the intercessors, and he looks like an old school jump pack captain, not like one of the newer ones that they have. So I'm wondering if GW is slowly moving the Primaris towards the older aesthetic, so that way they can get back to their old aesthetic for Space Marines with like the newer models and not worry about the size difference.
Huh. I wonder.
Because they did that, and they also did Space Marine Scouts as well. And the new Space Marine Scouts are definitely Primaris scaled, but they look like older Scouts. Yeah. So I thought it was like, so what they do is they take the old figures, the firstborn or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
Make them obsolete with the new figures that look completely different. And then once people stop playing the firstborn, they move all of the new Primaris stuff towards what the old firstborn aesthetic looks like.
Yeah, I thought Scouts were gone, so a Scout coming back is interesting.
Yeah. Did you see the new Brute and Trug, the Trogoth King? Sorry.
I did see that guy. I didn't know he was from Nova, but yeah, I did see he's got the giant fucking horns and like all the bullshit on his back. That guy looks fucking awesome.
He does. That model is a fantastic Rackham model. It looks fantastic.
Well, they have a bunch of Rackham ex-Rackham employees working for him, right?
Yes, they have them in a basement somewhere, feeding them baguettes and brie.
Delicious baguettes and brie. But yeah, no, that thing looks fucking awesome.
How can they design their trolls? You'll give us this inferior British wine.
Yeah, he looks sick as shit. I also love the new Iron Jaws.
That was the next thing.
Yeah,
the new Iron Jaws.
They look fucking awesome.
Which, why they probably designed those is probably because the black orcs that they had for the line are getting rolled back into Old World.
Really? I thought they were going to be in both.
They might be in both, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to be phasing out the black orcs from the Iron Jaws line, putting them back into Old World, so that way you don't have to double dip. Even though it makes sense to double dip, I don't think that they want to double dip.
Yeah,
I would get confused.
I'd be surprised if they fully cancel those black orcs, because they've been a staple for the army for quite a while.
It was pretty soon. Fantasy in Games Workshop is going to become like the Mr. Burns meme, where he's like ketchup, catsup.
Yes.
Old World, Age of Sigmar. Old World, Age of Sigmar.
Yes, I could see it. But yeah, no, the new Iron Jaws look awesome. I really like the flail guys, and I'm also very excited about the gigantic pig. That thing's really fucking cool.
The gigantic pig.
Yeah, the gigantic pig. It's not. That was a preview from a while ago, but it's a massive massive pig
War.
rider.
Yeah.
It's great.
And they're going to be doing a new Horus Heresy like army box for the Mark III. They're upscaling the Mark III armor. It's a really it's gorgeous. Like looking at the Horus Heresy stuff in this box set, I'm like, God damn, that's pretty looking.
They have the really cool. I really like the Horus Heresy dreadnoughts. They're like they've got those like kind of like
the Contemptor style, yeah.
Yeah. They kind of, I don't know, they kind of look like BattleTech guys to me.
Yeah, I mean, well, they look like actual like robots.
Yeah.
Which is it's fun. The box set coming with a, I think it's called a Derrideo dreadnought, and they, it's just like an anti-aircraft or just like an ordnance dreadnought. It's just really cool. But this is the time it's coming out in plastic. They're also doing a new plastic Land Raider that looks like the old football Land Raider. They had those in Forge World and resin for a long time. I have one, but now they're doing it in plastic. So if you want to go back to like a Rogue Trader style army, you could use those Land Raiders, so that way it looks more like that aesthetic. So that's cool. I'm interested in seeing how much that box goes for, because I'm going to pick it up because I just really love those Mark III Marines. They're just this is what I say about Games Workshop is like I can print those minis out, but yet those are so much prettier than anything I can print that it's worth buying them for me.
Yep. If I think that is legitimately the workshop strategy against 3D printing, and honestly, pretty smart. Like, just like, yeah, you can 3D print, but our models are better. like that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like, so it all depends on your level of care about the thing. It's like, do you care that these models do not look as good as the originals? No, then you feel free to play with whatever you want. Yes, you're probably going to buy the GW stuff. And speaking of, the new Warcry box set, Hunter and Hunted, is similar to that, because you have the you finally get what was it, the ogres, the what are the, not flayed ones, gorgers.
Oh yes.
They're releasing plastic gorgers just in time for the old world, which won't have ogres in it.
Yeah, you were talking. Yeah, you were talking about that. Like they're slowly updating the Ogre Kingdoms line through Warcry,
through Warcry and Shadespire.
Yeah.
Like what? You're finally getting plastic hunter. You're getting plastic gorgers. It's like, what else?
Yeah, it's all coming. It's all coming in other games. There'll be a complete Ogre Kingdoms army released, not in any mainline game.
Yeah, one day there'll be a complete Ogre Kingdom plastic army. I'm trying to think. The only thing that they have yet to do is like Yetis, I think, are the only plastic that is yet to be released for them.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because God, those old Yetis were so terrible.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. And funnily enough, well, actually, I don't know if they're good now, but at one point they were fucking insanely strong in Age of Sigmar. Like, yeah, they were ridiculously good. And it was funny because like nobody had those models, so like nobody used them. And one of the reviewers was like, "Yeah, so these are like borderline broken, but nobody owns these models, so you'll never have to worry about them in a tournament."
Yeah, the ogre stuff. I remember like nowadays that 6-ed ogre stuff doesn't look good. Most of it's really bad.
The bulls and the iron guts still look fine.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they look fine, but in comparison to what you could do now with minis, they look really bad.
Yeah, I mean, in comparison, they're definitely lacking.
They're like one of the few armies that do not hold up. Period.
Oh, the Beast Riders are good actually, but those are a lot newer than
those are newer. Yeah,
those are a lot newer than the bulls.
Yeah, those came out like right at the tail end of 8th, right?
It was close to that.
Yeah, or maybe it was the beginning of 8th. I think Ogre Kingdoms was a very early book in 8th edition.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those were all from their 8th edition upgrades. So yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, because did they ever do a plastic scrap launcher? I don't remember.
They did that big ass cannon, which I think
switch out with the scrap launcher. I think.
Yeah, which I think you can build as a. Was it a scrap launcher?
I think it was a cannon and a scrap launcher, because I have an old metal scrap launcher. Yeah, I randomly picked up at like
the iron blaster is a double kit. It's a plastic. It's the giant ass cannon or a scrap launcher. So yeah,
I think that's when they also released the big beasts, because those weren't in the original one too.
Yes, the thunder tusks and stuff. The stonehorn
thunder tusks are on the loose. Thunder tusks are loose.
Did it.
Did it. But yeah, so this box set also comes with the Age of Sigmar stuff that they had previewed just not too long ago. And I think I had said that they're probably going to release it in a double set. I was kind of hoping that it would be an undead set. So like an undead warband versus the Sigmar stuff. That would look really cool. But I guess with the ogres is pretty cool too.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
The Insignias of Sigmar stuff, I think I figured out why I don't like I don't like the specific thing that they're showing is that I think the models look so blandly painted. They're painted very well, but they're painted in the most bland colors known to mankind.
Yeah, very, very, very simple and non-flashy aesthetic. I think if you painted them in like one of the like classic, very bright Reichland schemes, they would look fucking awesome.
Oh, hell yeah. But the minis are pretty good. There is one in particular, and I don't know if you have it pulled up, but it is a guy with a spear. He has this weird little, they have these weird little things by their feet. And one of them looks like a head in a bag. I don't know if you can see it.
I'm looking at it now, but there's that one of the things that's like part of the like aesthetic of the Cities of Sigmar, which is really cool, is they all carry heads and skulls and stuff. Because I guess it's like
well, it's Games Workshop, so you got to have a skull.
Right. But the it's like a reliquary thing. So like they're carrying the head of like like a martyr or of like a great fighter or something like that. Like, and I guess that's like a big part of their lore. So like the priest there's that like special character who's on that like palanquin, like the two guys carrying it, and
there's like a dead guy right behind him.
Yes, and that was the dead guy was the person who did that job before they had the job. Yeah. So presumably when they die, they will replace the skeleton behind them. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I'm still looking for the spear dude though. But yeah, the one that the death dealer guy is so fucking cool. The dude the death dealer Frazetta pose. Fucking cool.
Oh yeah. So I think someone when it was one character someone had put together, like it was multi-part. I think it was for the actual Cities of Sigmar box set. He was one of the main characters. They gave him 2 shields. Just because there was like that option, so the guy's like in the death dealer pose with 2 shields.
That's great. Oh, I mean, he's very well defended.
But I think what's interesting about this box set, and the reason why I wanted to bring it up, was that instead of like the normal Warcry box sets that have been released, which are like with the mat, the cards, the dice, the rule book, and the 2 warbands, this only has 2 warbands and a piece of terrain. So, and in this one, the terrain is the maw pit, which looks super cool. It's a fantastic looking model. But you get the 2 warbands and the maw pit inside this box. And I'm wondering how much they're going to sell it for. Is this the new model for how they're going to sell stuff? Which is not a bad idea. You buy the core box set, which is the Heart of Gur box set. Then you buy the expansions and the smaller thing, which adds smaller amounts of terrain to it.
Yeah, that's smart.
I think I'm wondering if that's the direction they're going with it, or is this just kind of a one-off thing where they're like, we have these 2 cool war bands, we don't want to design a whole game around it, so let's just slap in this terrain and go from there.
I don't know. I think that's I don't know. I think that's probably a good idea to set that like as a style, like have the big box set, like, because I mean obviously the intention is they want you to buy it all, right?
Yeah.
So making it more sensical to buy it all is just a good idea.
Yeah.
And that maw pit is dope as shit. That maw pit is dope as shit. Very fucking cool. Very fucking cool piece of terrain.
All right, moving on. Briefly, we have the new vampire team for Blood Bowl. Blah!
Blah! We've got the ball.
They're really fantastic looking vampires.
They are,
but
really
they're so against the GW aesthetic that it's like its own aesthetic at this point. It looks like something from, God, I can't even tell what game it would be from, but it is a non-GW game for sure.
Yeah.
It's
your quarterback. Blah.
Blah. It looks like it's from like Guild Ball probably. More than anything. I do like, there is one character who is running around with a bat on his wrist. Like, I think he might be a zombie with a bat or something like that, or a something or other. But I just like the idea of the guy running around throwing a bat at someone.
Yes, it's very funny.
Bats scare the fuck out of me, man.
Really? I love bats. They're so cute.
Yeah, but that's how you get rabies. They're like the #1 rabies carrier in the United States. I do not want to die of rabies.
I'm not saying you should go and hang out with bats. I'm just saying that they're cute.
I'm not saying that they're not cute. I'm just saying they terrify me.
I see.
It's like a terrifying, cute thing. Like, just never touch a bat. Like, I constantly have to tell my kids this. Like, never, ever, 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 ever touch a bat.
Yes, leave them alone. Well, I mean, actually, it's just better advice. Is like, if it's a wild animal, don't touch it.
Yeah, very true. But in particular, if you see like a bat lying on the floor of the house, do not touch it. Period.
Yeah.
Or the backyard, because sometimes they fall out of the sky and die or whatever have you. You do not want to get anywhere close to it. So moving on really quickly, because there's not much to talk about. It's Blood Bowl, whatever. Vampires. Blood. Listen to your Blood Bowl cast. Listen to the Gridiron, the number one.
There's got to be at least one.
Yeah. Listen to the Gridiron, the number one Blood Bowl podcast in the United States.
And then there's the new Shadespire.
Yes, the Death Gorge.
Yeah, it looks fucking cool. I love the Slaanesh models.
Yeah, the Slaanesh models are sexy as shit.
I love this. I love the octopus.
The octopus. Well, that's the thing with not Lumineth, with the whatever those guys, the Deepkin.
Yeah, the Deepkin.
The Deepkin's like thing lately has always been like, we're gonna put like a weird fish thing inside of their Shadespire warband.
Yeah, I like it though. I mean, it's cool. It's cool octopus man. And then I also really, really like the caster hero with her little jellyfish on her base. Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only cool thing I like about the Deepkin is the fish. Like everything else is like meh, but I love the fish models. Those are
all the fish models are very cool. The shark is sweet looking. The turtle is cool looking. Yeah, I agree with that. Like I think their infantry is kind of like whatever. But man, do I love all their little fishy guys.
The seaweed is always greener on somebody else's plate. You think about going up there, but that is a big mistake. Just look at the world around you, right here on the ocean
floor.
What more are you looking for? Under the sea.
Under the sea. It's always better when it's wetter. Take it from me.
Take it from me. Up there they slave the day away. Down here we
get to play all day.
Here we're in motion, under the ocean, under the sea.
And then what's next? Feet. Feet is next.
Feet. Oh yes, the Elise Duchard, the foot model.
Yes, feet. Yes. Foot bros stay winning.
I will say there is no more organized fetish on the internet than foot fans.
Yep. Foot bros. Actually, you know what else is rising? Pit bros, armpit bros. That's the next thing that's rising.
Well, this one you don't see the armpits on. I mean, she is raising her arm, but you don't see the armpits.
Yes.
So you do get to see the feet, which is someone's gonna paint those feet dirty and sell that model for a lot of money.
Oh yeah, they're gonna put up the like 7.5 hour YouTube video of their wet blending on the feet.
So do you think I'd get more money if I did like let's say I took like a contrast gray and painted that slightly on the bottom so their feet just look a little dirty, or if I took sterling mud and just caked it on?
I think you would get a good amount of money for either from different variants of foot bros.
Yeah, I know nothing of this fetish, so it's now I sound like a guy who's really into it because I'm denying it too much.
You blew it.
I blew it.
You blew it.
But yes, definitely. I think there probably is like the guys who are like anti-dirty feet. Mm-hmm. Like there's guys who are clean feet and guys who are dirty feet.
Yep, absolutely. That's absolutely true.
So aside from just the fetish aspect, it's a gorgeous model. It really is.
It is a beautiful model. The unicorn is great. The sculpt is really, really, really fucking nice.
Yeah, and the paint job, you could tell that the guy was really upset that he could not paint a see-through dress. Like you could tell he wanted to. Yeah,
you can tell the cream, the color, and also the horse is gorgeous too. The
the paint job itself is unbelievable.
Really, really fucking good. The eyes are incredible on the unicorn. I'm a big fan of that model. I think it's really cool. I don't know, man. I really hope Old World is good because I'm really liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be fine. It's going to be exactly what we want it to be. We're going to play it. We're going to look at the rules and go, you know what? This is what we wanted.
Yeah, I was like, obviously I was like, I was more nail biting about it before they released that first taste of the rules, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm really liking what I'm seeing.
And finally, last mini that they showed was the Fulgrim Ascended model. It's the first demon
very
Fulgrim.
cool.
Yeah, it is for Horus Heresy, not for 40K. Because I think they want to do they're probably going to do a Fulgrim model for 40K eventually. This one is for Horus Heresy. It's the first Ascended Primarch for Heresy. They're releasing it alongside a book of the exemplary battles, which were like a series of web articles that they did. So they're releasing it in conjunction with that. It is a model that can never, ever, ever leave your house. Yeah. That's the one thing I could say about it.
My one actual like criticism of the figure has absolutely nothing specifically to do with this figure itself, but the fact that like they already made this figure and her name is Marathi.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Marathi figure.
It really is.
Well, that's funny because I know a lot of people who took the 30K Fulgrim model and merged it with the Marathi model to make the demonic Fulgrim model. So it's like this is just a natural extension of what the community already has been doing.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So my advice to anybody who's interested in this model, this is what I would do. The wings would be magnetized onto the model. The arms would be magnetized onto the model. So you would store all of that stuff separately in travel and then just attach it when you want to play.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
in pieces attached to something magnetic in your storage case.
Yeah. Otherwise, this thing is going to break apart into a bajillion pieces the second you try to do anything with it.
Oh yeah, no
But
question.
it's really pretty. I really like it.
It is a gorgeous centerpiece model. Oh yeah, and I guess I should also clarify that it is much better than the Marathi model, and I thought the Marathi model was great. But yeah, no, this one the detail is ridiculous.
It's the resin detail versus the plastic detail. That's what it really is.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying that you can't get good detail with the plastic. It's a different visual style altogether when you have resin versus plastic.
Yeah, the resin detail is always just a little bit sharper.
Yeah, it's sharper, it's deeper. That's what it really is it's that the detail is deeper, which makes it sexier in that way.
Yeah, for sure.
If you get like an actual sculpted model that is then which is then casted. So that's the reason why you get the nice deeper model to it. The deeper detail to it. But that's besides the point. So that's everything that was released at Nova. It was actually a pretty cool release because there was a lot of little stuff, and it wasn't like normal GW stuff where we're showing you one thing, and then there's a couple like poop things that come out. This was like a lot of like medium-sized releases, which I like.
Yeah.
So anyway, do we have any other gaming stuff to talk about? That was the main stuff I wanted to talk about.
I think that's everything, man.
I think
we actually talked about a lot of gaming stuff on this podcast. What's happened to us? What's happened to us?
My God,
we're off our game. We're off our game.
I was by the way, I'm writing. I think I'm writing a Halloween one shot for Call of Cthulhu.
Nice.
And basically, I don't know if I want to spoil. No one's going to listen to this cast. Who's probably going to play in that. But what I wanted to do is, I'm writing it. It's about a bunch of monks who are in an abbey, and they're down in the crypts, like just tending to the crypts, and there's an earthquake and it seals them off in the crypts, but it opens up like a big hole in the wall, and it's their only exit, and they have to get through, and they basically they have to fight these like kind of grubby monsters that are on the inside or stay away from them. But it turns out that the grubby monsters are parasites, and they're inside the head of a giant elder being.
Nice.
That's buried underneath the abbey.
Nice. I like it.
I was thinking that's a cool concept.
I like it.
Yes. So I just said that because I saw some Cthulhu thing on my computer now.
You should do that.
Go to the Game Classy Facebook page. It's the best way to find out the link to our Discord. We put up the Discord link every 2 weeks. It goes away after a week, but no one ever asks for it. So I'm just assuming that anybody who wants to join can find it and join there. I've also been putting it up on some of the other links, but it's the best way to find it is on the Facebook page. The Discord is where we talk, where we gather, commune, chuckle with our fans and our listeners. I don't know if they're necessarily fans, mostly complainers.
Yeah, they are the listeners.
Yeah, it's a good place to just talk about random interests that are aside from gaming as well, including Star Trek and that other TV show. Oh my God! Did you see everybody losing their shit because Anakin Skywalker showed up in Ahsoka?
I hate sand.
It's coarse. It gets everywhere.
Uh,
Not just them, not just the men, but the women and children too. God, that series needs to die.
yeah.
Die, Steve. It needs to die. But Star Trek Lower Decks just started, and it was a Voyager episode, so not my favorite, but whatever.
Yes.
I know you love Voyager, but
I do love Voyager. I don't know. Voyager, you know what? I finally figured it out the best way I can describe Voyager. Voyager is fast food.
yeah, very
Voyager
much
is fast food. Like it tastes pretty good, but it is not good for you. I think that's like a good comparison. Like it is food. It is undeniably food, and it tastes good, but probably not the best thing for you. And
No.
I think that's a really good way to put Voyager for me. Like, I think that's how Voyager works for me, because like, I find Voyager, like, there's a lot of, and a decent chunk of that is because of emotions, because that's like when I was watching Voyager, when it was on air, like the various, it was a relaxing, like, comfortable thing to me at that time to watch Voyager, and it was always, it was there. It was like, because I watched Voyager was the one Star Trek show I watched like start to finish on television. I'd never watched the other Star Trek start to finish on TV before. I watched as much as I could, but as we've discussed many times, TV was such a, and our listener base is older, so we all know it. TV was, you couldn't just watch all the episodes and be like, I'm gonna catch up on Star Trek and watch all the episodes. Like you that was not an option. You got to watch it if you caught it on TV.
Yeah, I never watched Voyager on TV. I watched a lot of Next Gen, but not start to finish, of course.
Yeah. No, Voyager is a show that I actually watched every episode of on TV. Like,
yeah,
that was, like,
I've never
really
watched.
cool.
The only Star Trek show that I've ever watched straight on release has been oh shit, I haven't even done that. But I was gonna say Strange New Worlds, but I didn't start on Strange New Worlds. I got like episode 3 or 4 is when people are saying like you have to watch this. So I watched it and I was like, holy shit. So I guess the only series I actually started from the start has been Picard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was the only one where I was like, at the first episode, I was like, I'll give it a watch. I've heard that this season is going to be good. And Picard season 3, I should say.
Man,
Not even Picard, just Picard season 3.
Season 3 is so fucking good.
I just don't even acknowledge that season 1 and 2 exists.
I can also confirm. I told one of my dearest friends, who I love very much, that, like, look, bro, you gotta watch Picard. And they were like, I don't want to watch the first and second season. I've heard it was bad. And I was like, you are right. Don't. Just watch season 3. All you need to know is that Picard has a duplicate body. Like, Picard's body is like robotic. That's all you need to know. Like, he's got a clone body. Like, that is the only plot point from season 1 and 2 you need to know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally the only plot point. And when he was done, he was like, he sent me a message. He was like, that was so fucking good, dude. Like, he's like, wow.
Yeah, the Strange New Worlds is finished this season, so you can now binge that.
Oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna get that done.
Yeah, I gotta warn you, the way that it ended has not been my favorite, but it is within the realm of Star Trek. It is a very Star Trek ending, so I can't complain too much.
Okay,
I'm only complaining because of that. It's going to take so much longer for the next season. So.
I see.
Yes. But yes, the Lower Decks was this episode, and it was a love letter to Voyager. They do a whole Tuvix thing.
Oh, nice.
They're like, my favorite part of the episode though was that so the Tuvix thing happens, and then the captain of the ship is basically goes, well, I'll just figure out how Janeway dealt with it, and everyone looks at each other like, she straight up murdered him, right?
That's great. That's great. I gotta check that out.
But I do disagree with that. Janeway did not murder Tuvix. Well, Janeway murdered Tuvix, but Tuvix existed for all of an hour, so his existence was not based on anything really. There was no like. He did not grow and have like a life.
It's one of those episodes that really could have worked well on the fact that they didn't have to make Voyager for syndication, but they still operated Voyager like it was going to be syndicated, even though it didn't have to be. Tuvix could have been a very deep and emotional like
arc.
Arc, for sure, and it would have been very cool.
Yes,
we've talked about that before. Like, I think Voyager is like, there's a lot of like. Voyager takes a lot of good shots that don't hit the bullseye.
See, this is what happens when we talk about gaming. We talk about all of our Star Trek stuff at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta move on. We gotta move on. All
I
right,
love
so
Star
then-
Trek.
Yeah, I love the Trek. I love it.
Yeah.
Yesterday was National Star Trek Day.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yes. And so then you could also, if you want to see more of my stuff, you can go to Game Classy Joe. You could look at me on Instagram at Game Classy Joe. Steve is not currently anywhere other than the Discord because he has been banned because he has threatened too many higher ups.
It's true. I'm on like 10 FBI watch lists.
And it's not even like real like senators or congressmen. He's like threatening the comptroller of Lombard.
That son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. All right. So Steve, until next time.
Live long and prosper.
Game Classy.